Okay, I think we're all still here. I think we're all recording. Okay, so SPSS generally looks like this. It's the sigma sign. Sometimes it is under I for IBM. But anyways, when you open it up, normally it will have a window like this, which has recent data points, or you can just open a new data set and click open. So there is there's a couple of windows, but there's two basic views in SPSS. And so this is a blank data set. There's no data in here yet. So we have the data view, which will show the actual information. And we have the variable view, which is essentially the column headers. So if you have a data file, if you have used Jamovi before and have installed it in your computer, it's possible that when you open the data up, it will open in Jamovi automatically. So you may need to open SPSS first and have your data saved somewhere that you can find it, and then open the data from within SPSS. So you can just open and it'll show you your folders, and so you can open your data that way if you're having issues, if it's automatically opening in Jamovi. I'm going to look at my recently used data here just to get to our file here. And so the SPSS data files are .sav for save. My SPSS is being grumpy and apparently my license will expire, so I will deal with that. But here's what data looks like. The GNS book comes with data. There should be instructions on how to download it. I will show you also, I think you should still be able to access it. I put all of the data sets in the files on our Canvas page as well, in case you're having issues. But this is the data that your book walks you through, and this is also the data that you'll use for your assignments. So be aware of that. So when you're looking at the data from the data view, which is this tab down here, you can see it says data view. Each row represents a person. And each column is a variable. So here I have the variables ID, sex, and test score. And so for this person, their ID number is 1, their sex is coded as 1. I'll show you how to figure out what that means, and their test score is right here. If you look at the variable view, it tells you information basically about each of the columns in your data view. So ID number is the first variable. We've got 2 decimals. It actually doesn't show us how it's coded. We'll go over that later. But this is a list of all of our variables. And if I double click here, it brings me back to the data view and I can see the scores for ID. I think in your first and second SPSS guides, it's basically opening data. If you want to save it, you go to File, Save As. Pretty basic. If you want to add data, you can just type it in. So if we had 11, another person whose ID was 11, maybe their sex was 1. So we've got to code as 1 and 2. And their test score was 40. I could also insert, if I wanted to insert a variable above, I could right click and insert cases. We can also delete cases by right clicking, and you can cut or you can clear it. And that's, I think, about as far as you get in terms of SPSS instructions for the latest chapters in your SPSS book. You should have access to the data, I believe. So let me know if you can't see this, because for some reason let me see if I can get to the student view. Okay. So you still should have access to the Files tab. And yes. Okay, so I uploaded all of your SPSS data sets. So you can download these. You have access to them through the GNS book, but you also have access to them here on Canvas as well. Okay. Are there any questions about SPSS basics for those of you who are here? I'm going to stop. That's basic introduction to SPSS, and we will go over the specific assignments, and I'll do examples of the specific analyses in class when we get to that.